everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Reality TV Africa on here on YouTube, and you can also find me on Instagram, Reality TV Africa as well. And today I want to review Mummy Club Reunion Part 2. And if I can just start off with the outfits. So I'll start from my least favorite to my most favorite. My least favorite was Mrs. Mops. I didn't like the furry thing that was going on around her neck. It kind of made it dated. And then my next least favorite was Nunu Rise. I found it a bit gaudy, too much going on. It wasn't, when the walking, the movement, it wasn't natural. I didn't like it, honestly, if I can keep it 100. My top two were, the first one was, I'll say Ratile. Ratile's dress was okay. It was appropriate for the occasion. Black, you can never go wrong with black. It's elegant. Not too much going on, not too much vavavoom. And my best was Happy's because of the vavavoomness of it all. It looked nice, it looked elegant, there was boobage, she was serving, and she just, you know, she looked good. She looked really good. Thembisa also, her dress was quite lovely. It was it matched the energy, it matched the vibe of what they were all trying to give. I'm not sure there was a theme. Usually some reunions have a theme. If you watch other reality shows globally, they usually have a theme about how they dress. Like maybe it's tied to an event that they had, or tied to a vacation that they went on. But theirs was just, I guess, elegance and, you know, over the top gowns. That's what it felt like. Yeah, and so let's get into the actual reunion. So we start off with Thembisa obviously telling the audience and the ladies that they had someone missing. Miss Manche was visibly missing, and it was rather disappointing that she didn't show up, because she was a very much a big part of the whole show. And I mean, the reason as to why is not we don't know, because she was asked to come. She didn't respond, and she was asked to also send a video. No response was forthcoming, and they had to obviously push on without her, and it's okay. I mean, the show must go on, right? Yeah, so she didn't come, but I will give my hunch and my suspicion and my thoughts on it. This is just, I guess, based on me watching and what I think. I think there was a lot of accusations being thrown around, incriminating evidence being thrown around, and in the last episode you could see she was visibly disturbed by the fight between Ratile and Happy, and Ratile revealing that she has incriminating evidence against Happy. And I mean, being on a show like this, being on a platform like this, people come to you with certain stories, evidence, and it's not always kosher, and you never know what they'll say, you know, about it. So yeah, I mean, it's she looked visibly disturbed by the whole thing, and I can understand maybe why she was uncomfortable. She looks like someone who doesn't also like problems and fights and strife, and you know, she doesn't like that. So I guess she made her choice, and being that she didn't come back on the reunion, obviously she's going to, I don't think she's gonna be back on the show. However, I did hear a rumor, or it's not verified, it's alleged, that she will be back maybe next season in a lower capacity as a friend of the cast, but it's not confirmed yet. So let's wait and see in season 2. Then we get into the situation between Mrs. Mops and obviously Miss Manche. They covered that because it was a big part of the show, and obviously we could see there was a bit of an issue and struggle. If you ask me, my opinion, it was a power struggle between Miss Manche and Mrs. Mops, because they, before joining the show, were already big and well-known names. Miss Manche was big on social media. Mrs. Mops was previously on Real Houses Johannesburg. So they already had like a big platform between the two of them. And so it was almost like, as Nunurai called it out, two bulls in a pen. it's not possible to have two bulls in a pen. And you could see there was kind of a push and pull between their friendship. And I don't know, they never turned it around. And I mean, Mrs. Mops was like, she wanted to have a friendship with her, she wanted to make it right with her. But since the show wrapped, they didn't connect or reconnect, and they didn't get the time to kind of bring it back together. So right now, as it is, I guess the friendship is just as it was when it ended. And then we also get into the issue between Ratile and Mrs. Mops. Ratile felt like Mrs. Mops was stirring the pot and poking the bear, and this she realized after watching the show and seeing the scenes while watching the show. And obviously, if I can keep it 100, and my opinion, obviously, Mrs. Mops is a seasoned reality star. She knows what she's doing. She came to do a job of being the force multiplier. A force multiplier basically pushes the story forward, asks certain questions during scenes to invoke certain conversations. She kind of, a force multiplier puts on a producer's hat while seated with the cast. So Mrs. Mops came to do a job, and Ratile shouldn't take it personally. But I mean, being new to the whole reality thing, Ratile obviously was perturbed, and she was disturbed and thrown off, obviously, by Mrs. Mops's what Mrs. Mops was saying when they were on this, when she watched back the show. And understandably, I mean, maybe she had put Mrs. Mops at a certain on a certain pedestal and as a friend, but she was hurt, obviously, and it's fine. Yeah, so that was that. And Mrs. Ratile kind of told her, I was not happy with what I watched back. And Mrs. Mops was like, I understand, but you know, she tried to explain it away. And I don't know if it didn't seem like Ratile bought it, but she didn't really, I think, take it to heart, because in the scenes that played after, where Mrs. Mops was put to task to explain about her finances, because that recently played out on social media, that her house was about to be taken away from them. I mean, I guess it was a financial situation, but she says they turned it around and they still have their home. And yeah, so Ratile looked like she was at least sympathetic towards that situation, and all the ladies as well. They rallied together, because at the end of the day, this is the thing that I think most ensemble casts like this must always remember, that they are a sisterhood. At the end of the day, if something happens to one of them, they all get affected inadvertently, because they are joined together by this show. We also get to see the nannies. The nannies came, as well as Happy's daughter Titi. They came on set, and we got to see, you know, their backstories, how they mingled together. I think the nannies were the backbone of the show, in as much as they were not the main cast. They played a big role. I mean, I don't know why Happy's PA didn't come. Katlego was also part of this whole, the nanny crew. I don't know, maybe they've already, I'm not sure if they've parted ways with Happy, but we'll probably find that out eventually. But yeah, she wasn't there. Ratile's nanny also was there, in as much as, and it was revealed that she's not working for her anymore. She started her own business. Kudos to her. And it's actually a testament to the fact that Ratile was a good employer, because they left on good terms, visibly on good terms. She came on and represented Ratile, even if she's not working for her. It was lovely to see. Honestly, it was quite lovely to see. And then, of course, Happy and her daughter talked about their traumatic situation with Happy's ex-husband, who sadly passed away. And they went through a lot. It was a lot what they went through, and we got to see all that play out. Even the whole dynamics between Happy and Titi. It was kind of a toxic situation, but I love the fact that they were in therapy. I hope they're still in therapy, and Ratile, I mean, Happy has also started a new venture Healing with Her Majesty. I guess it's a platform for women who've gone through similar situations as her, and I like that she's kind of making that, you know, like into a business, turning that around into a business, also to help women. Yeah, that was lovely to see that that they're on the path to healing, Ratile and her daughter and her family as a whole. And yeah, that was it was heartwarming, it was heartfelt. I liked it. I like that that we got to see the follow up to that situation, that they've healed and they're doing much better. Then I think we also, one of the things that was discussed was the fact that Happy was so real. The fans appreciated her realness. The fans loved the fact that she came, you know, she was forthcoming with her story, forthcoming with her traumas, forthcoming with her family dynamics and the issues. And yeah, there was a lot of layers to her story, and I think she was the breakout star, if you ask me, which was surprising, seeing that Mrs. Mops was the bigger star before the show began. But here we have Happy with her story. Happy was a personality in her own right. She, I guess, was in the South African scene. She's well known, but Mrs. Mops had a bigger platform TV wise. But her story, Miss Happy's story, was quite well received. It had a mix she had a mix of fans. Some who felt like it was a lot what she took her family through and her kids, and some who felt like they appreciated her realness. Then we get to the cliffhanger where we have a face-off between Happy and Ratile, and they're basically it's a face-off at this point. Both are claiming they have allegedly have incriminating evidence against each other, and Tembisa was urging them, tell us what this evidence is. If you have it, tell us, we want to know. And that's where the episode ended, and I guess we'll find out next week what happens, because I'm waiting just as much as you. So catch me here next week on my YouTube channel and also on my Instagram. Follow me there and see